All right, so here we have this beautiful green book. It's Mark Twain's Autobiography in First Romance. You can see it's got this beautiful border around the edge here, and then the gold title on the front. And you can see it's a really thin book. It's not much, and about the size of a hand. You can see the border is also on the back here as well. And it's just sort of a pattern of leaves around the edges there. So let's take a look and open it up. These first few flyleaves have a kind of a worn look to them, and then the paper gets a little bit lighter there. And here we have the title page. So you can see this is a sort of ornate title here. It says Mark Twain's Burlesque Autobiography in First Romance. And then there's this pretty morbid, jokey image here of a gallows, and it says Our Family Tree. And it's published by Sheldon and Company in New York. And then here, it looks like on this first page, or on the reverse side of the title page, it's got this ad, and it also has the publication date down here at the bottom, which is 1871. All right, and here's a burlesque autobiography. 2 or 3 persons having at different times intimated that if I would write an autobiography, they would read it when they got leisure. I yield at last to this frenzied public demand, and herewith tender my history. Ours is a noble old house and stretches a long way back into antiquity. The earliest ancestor the Twains have any record of was a friend of the family by the name of Higgins. This was in the 11th century, when our people were living in Aberdeen, county of Cork, England. Why it is that our long line has ever since borne the maternal name, except when one of them now and then took a playful refuge in an alias to avert foolishness, instead of Higgins, is a mystery, which none of us has ever felt much desire to stir. It is a kind of vague, pretty romance, and we leave it alone. All the old families do that way. And here you can see this ornate border they have around all of the pages. And this is the first engraving in here, or the first major engraving. It says the house that Jack built, and then it shows this this mule that's subtitled as Jack. I believe all of these have sort of a satirical comic meaning. I'm not totally sure what it is, and if you look up the book you might be able to figure that out. But it was a sort of commentary on Mark Twain's society at the time. So there was another engraving there. There's this other engraving here. All the major engravings kind of continue this scheme. It says Charles Henry Twain lived during the latter part of the 17th century and was a zealous and distinguished missionary. So he's going through his sort of fake biography there. And this says, this is the malt that lay in the house that Jack built. And then here we have another engraving, and it continues that pattern. It says, this is the rat that ate the malt that lay in the house that Jack built. So it's sort of doing a playful play on words, or just sort of a kind of a nursery rhyme sort of thing. And each one is sort of in the style of kind of a political cartoon. But now a thought occurs to me. My own history would really seem so tame, contrasted with that of my ancestors, that it is simply wisdom to leave it unwritten until I am hanged. If some other biographers I have read had stopped with the ancestry until a like event occurred, it would have been a felicitous thing for the reading public. How does it strike you? So throughout the whole autobiography here, he's got this humorous, satirical tone. And then once the autobiography ends, it has this awful, terrible medieval romance, is what it's called, attached here at the end, which is just a fictional story that is supposed to be kind of a parody or a satire of a sort of romance. The year 1222 was drawing to a close. Far away up in the tallest of the castle's towers, a single light glimmered. A secret council was being held there. The stern old lord of Klugenstein sat in a chair of state meditating. Presently he said with a tender accent, "My daughter." So this goes on, and the engravings in here are all kind of separate from the story. These just continue that that theme that we were seeing before of the political cartoons with the sort of series of rhymes about the house that Jack built. Right, and here's another engraving. This is the cow with the crumpled horn that tossed the dog that worried the cat, that la la la. And this medieval romance is in a few chapters. And there's some... here's another engraving. This one, it shows a character milking a cow labeled TGP, and on the udders it says public honor, so he's milking the public honor or something along those lines. I think it says up in the corner there who that character is supposed to represent, but I don't know the history of that. The engravings are really interesting looking, and some of them are kind of surreal with the cartoonish nature that they have. Alright. By and by, Constance rose slowly to her feet and moved away, saying, "To think that he was despising my love at the very moment that I thought it was melting his cruel heart. I hate him. He spurned me, did this man. He spurned me from him like a dog." Oh, and this is a really intense engraving here of this multi-headed man sitting in a chair. It says, "Private office, board of directors. Positively no admission to any but directors. And this is the man all tattered and torn, that loved the maiden all forlorn, that milked the cow with the crumpled horn, that tossed the dog, that worried the cat, that caught the rat, that ate the malt, that lay in the house that Jack built." This is one of the last engravings in here, I believe. And it's definitely one of the more detailed, and also one of the more frightening looking ones. And also on those illustrations, they're, instead of having an artist's signature in the bottom, it just has a little signature that says Bureau of Illustration. Here's another one here. It's got that multi-headed character again. Looks like officiating a wedding of some sort, or being the groom in a wedding. An appalling conviction of his helpless, hopeless peril struck a chill to Conrad's heart, like the chill of death itself. What power on earth could save him? To disprove the charge, he must reveal that he was a woman, and for an uncrowned woman to sit in the ducal chair was death. At one and the same moment, he and his grim old father swooned and fell to the ground. The remainder of this thrilling and eventful story will not be found in this or any other publication, either now or at any future time. The truth is, I have got my hero or heroine into such a particularly close place that I do not see how I am ever going to get him or her out of it again, and therefore I will wash my hands of the whole business and leave that person to get out of the best way that offers, or else stay there. I thought it was going to be easy enough to straighten out that little difficulty, but it looks different now. If Harper's Weekly or the New York Tribune desire to copy these initial chapters into the reading columns of their valuable journals, just as they do the opening chapters of Ledger and New York Weekly novels, they are at liberty to do so at the usual rates, provided they trust. Mark Twain. And then here we have, I think this is the final engraving here, of this sort of rooster man, the perpetual board of directors, whoop-de-doodle-dee, Excelsior. And it says, "This is the cock that crowed in the morn to wake into existence the man all tattered and torn, that married the maiden all forlorn, that milked the cow with the crumpled horn, that tossed the dog, that worried the cat, that caught the rat, that ate the malt, that lay in the house that Jack built." And that's the end of that one there. And then at the very end they have this ad for the Galaxy, which is an American magazine that says, "Mark Twain writes for the Galaxy frequently. It is the best American magazine. No family can afford to do without it. It gives more good and attractive reading matter for the money than any other periodical or book published in this country. The leading newspapers pronounce the Galaxy the best and most ably edited American magazine. The Galaxy meets the wants of every member of the family. And here you can see it says, let's see, it has humorous articles by Mark Twain in each number, which are a constant source of delight to the public. And now is the time to subscribe for $18.71. And you can see the prices there, $4 per year, and single copies for 35 cents each. So, yeah, so that's Mark Twain's Autobiography and First Romance, just a kind of silly, humorous satire. And if you like that, please subscribe and leave us a comment. Okay, and thank you so much for watching. Thanks. Bye.